consider it important to safeguard existing houses in the market sector from conversion to smaller units, parts of Westminster considered to be particularly suitable for families? So at the moment we've got some family housing areas that are already part of the policy framework that we already apply and was agreed back in 2007. So do you think it's appropriate, this is just for market housing, that we continue to have those family housing areas and that within those areas we don't allow conversion to flats? Does anyone want to put forward a view on that?
So what you mean is in the private sector now you talk about,
that's right.
If a man has got a 4-bedroom house, flat, whatever you want to call it, and he wants to split it in two, would it make any difference to us who's at the bottom of the ladder? Would it make any difference to our housing?
No, I think I'm asking the entire range of people here if anyone has any views on that question. So,
Well, I'm trying to give you one. I have got no view. Let the man keep his house and maybe split it up for a 2-bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got more accommodation. Okay. That's it. But don't give us the rabbit hut for he's be able to build on.
So allow for those conversions to go.
Yeah, because everybody wants to be rehoused.
Okay. And yes, sir.
Certain standards.
Yeah.
Sorry, this gentleman here is just speaking.
Sorry, Tom Ball again. The history of London over the last 100 years is, and its housing, has been people actually subdividing a house and then that house actually coming back again as being one family. You can see it in Notting Hill, you can see it in Westminster and various places. What is important, from my point of view, is the standard of space that results. So if the regulations about space standards are maintained, then, and including noise transmission as well and other things to do with the subdivision, if those standards are met, then I wouldn't object to that.
Okay, so you're essentially saying that the market allows for this ebb and flow across the lifetime of a building, and that's a good thing, provided that at any one stage all of the units within the accommodation meet appropriate standards.
I wouldn't restrict it to saying the market. It can be a family that decides that the mother and father wish to stay there and subdivide for their children.
That's right, and I would include that within the market. Are there any different views on this question, or should we move to the next one?
Can I have one more?
Yeah, sure.
What it is, I've got to use my granddaughter because that's the thing that's happened to her. They put her, so-called, through a house association, because a house association, though she's Westminster's responsibility, a housing association does the management and finds the landlord, right? They put my granddaughter into a 2-bedroom, yeah, and I know it's not a 2-bedroom, because I know by the size of the rooms. I had to go to councillors, environment officers, etc., etc., right, to get this proven. And Westminster City Council, if they are going to come on to these landlords and let them do their variations, yes, it should be up to the standard that we can live in.
Okay.
Inspectable and enforceable.
Okay. All right.
Penalties.
And I think this next question actually touches on that, because does anyone believe that 2-bedroom dwellings that have any dwelling that has 2 double bedrooms, so therefore in theory could accommodate 4 people within the house, do any of you believe
What about children?
that's what I'm coming on to? Do any of you believe that that type of accommodation, a unit with 2 double bedrooms in it, should be considered within our definition of family housing? Do we consider that that meets our definition of family housing?
Yeah, but you haven't got the choice, really, because where are we going to find all this housing? It's mostly people in temporary housing, right, would take a 2-bedroom with 2 or 3 children. At least they're out of hotels, they're out of etc., etc., and they can make up themselves to get their education, their jobs, their children's stability, and illnesses.
And can I just take a show of hands? Does anyone think, yes, within our definition, as we apply our policies, if you have 2 double bedrooms within a unit, then you believe that that meets the criteria for family housing? Does anyone support that? Sorry.
Excuse me, it's a very silly way to phrase the question of housing need, because we who live in social housing know of families that spend years in a 2-bedroom.
I
Because there's no 3-bedroom available. They have to put up with the
I quite
2-bedroom.
agree, but I'm not talking about people who are being
What would they
placed
do
in
without a
social media.
2-bedroom? They'd be in a hostel
That I totally agree.
or in a studio.
Okay.
Sorry.
For the application of our policies, does anyone disagree and think that having 2 double bedrooms does not constitute family housing? And I'm talking about in the market sector here, I'm not talking about in the social sector. So this is for applying our policies and working out how to apply our policies. If we ask for family housing to come forward, do we think that something with 2 double bedrooms meet the criteria for family housing? Does anyone think that having 2 double bedrooms meets the criteria for family housing?
Well, the rich ones will get free, won't
Are
they?
they en suite?
I think there are some shows of hands, so I think
it really depends on what exactly you're using that definition for. If you're using it when you're applying it to new developments and you're saying to a new developer, we want 2 family units in there,
That's
and the
exactly
developer
what I'm saying.
actually says, oh well, all I have to do is provide a 2-bedroom unit.
That's
no,
right.
I don't think it's acceptable at all.
all right.
Then you need maybe a new category. You need family, 2-bedroom, family 1-bedroom, something like that.
Sorry, there's somebody right down the back.
Well,
Sorry.
I think the very evident answer to that is it's potentially part of the solution, isn't it?
Yes.
Some families can live in
It's part of
2-bedroom
the
accommodation. So it definitely is.
Okay. So we've definitely got the yes, it could be considered family housing, and we've got the no, it shouldn't be considered family housing. Are there any differences of views to those two?
Well, I have the proviso. How many toilets are provided and bath and separate?
So you're saying there's some wider criteria.
It's too simplistic.
Yes.
So the choice is, you're going to go on the social housing, like, I would be glad if my granddaughter could get a 2-bedroom with 2 children.
But this isn't about allocation
No,
of
because
social
the people are
housing.
here now who are listening. I know the chap from before down in City Hall where you were speaking. And she'd be too glad up to the age of 10 to have her children. At least she'll have a bedroom and a bedroom. And people can go on forever. But when they're living the life, right, with where we're living in temporary accommodation and how the landlords are treating us, they're getting away with murder. That's my objection on that one. The private sector got to do what they've got to do.
Okay. All right.
Can I try and build one point?
Sorry, I was going to move on to another question, to be
Yes,
honest.
you're missing a point. If you have an average or a range, so, in, say, a development, let's not go into too much detail, and you say that the average, not the mean or the norm or whatever,
Yep, the average.
is a 4 habitable room home.
So you're saying to measure it by
up or
habitable
down,
room.
could be higher, could be lower. You then begin to get the possibility of people having different accommodation. If you don't have that, then I'm afraid you're in a bind. It's impossible. You can't do everything.
All right. Could we go
And
to
may I
councillors
also
then?
say, if the central government are responsible for developing these forms of housing by subsidy of any kind, however you work it, then it becomes back to central government, and it is not your council's responsibility
Right.
ultimately. That's what I'm trying to suggest.
Okay, councillor.
Can I just clarify what the significance of that question is? If it's the private sector, if you say yes to that question, you could be simply ticking boxes, can't you? Because you don't know how it's actually going to be used. So I think this is a very dangerous question,
Okay.
and that the answer has to be very specific to knowing that it will be used for what the claim is.
So you're saying without knowing the policy framework for which it's going to be criteria, there's no point?
The application is being made to tick a box, yes.
Yeah.